And welcome back to This Day in Sports History. I am your host, Steve White, ready to take you around the sports history timeline once again. It is December 7th, and on this day, we had a reversal of fortune in the NFL, one of the greatest point guard duels in the NBA, and a statistical anomaly in college football that's only happened once in the history of the game. Plus, Gordie Howe made one of his last appearances, and a sports broadcast staple made its first. All that on the way in the next few minutes. Let's make it a great day right after this. This episode is brought to you by the Sterling Soap Company. Sterling Soap is 100% natural and with a variety of bath soaps, shave soaps, beard balm, lotions, cologne, and many more personal care products in a large variety of scents, you're sure to find something that's perfect for you or that special someone in your life. Check them out at sterlingsoap.com. It's December 7th, and on this day in 1980, the San Francisco 49ers pulled off one of the biggest comebacks in NFL history. It was week 14 of the season, and the 49ers were playing at home in Candlestick Park against the 0-13 New Orleans Saints. The Niners weren't quite the team that they would become in the 80s. Under second-year head coach Bill Walsh, San Francisco was 5-8 coming into this game, but playing a winless Saints team, or as their fans had started calling them, the Aints, the Niners didn't figure there was too much to be concerned about. However, Saints quarterback Archie Manning came out firing, taking advantage of the second-worst pass defense in the league that season by throwing 3 touchdown passes in the first half, 2 of those to Ike Harris.
Right from the eye, Manning tear it out again. Good protection, gives it the pump fake. He's got Ike Harris. Touchdown. Manning looks to bootleg it. Now comes back against the grain for Ike Harris. Touchdown.
They also added a pair of Jack Holmes 1-yard runs. On the other side of the ball, the Saints defense, which was the worst in the league in 1980, kept rookie quarterback Joe Montana and the Niner offense out of the end zone. The only score that San Francisco could muster in the first 30 minutes was this 57-yard punt return for a touchdown by Freddie Solomon.
Russell Erxleben gets away a good kick. Freddie Solomon gets a great return. The 49ers right back in this football game.
The Saints led 35-7 at halftime. In the locker room, the 49ers could hear the New Orleans players laughing and singing down the hall. Walsh told his team they're laughing at you, but he didn't fill them with any false hope, telling his guys, I don't know if we can come back and win or not, but you can't play any worse. The Niners got back to basics in the second half. After a Montana sneak from a yard out to get the scoring started, Joe Cool threw touchdown passes to Dwight Clark and Freddie Solomon. And then late in the fourth, on a 3rd and 5, Montana handed the ball to
Linville Elliott. Touchdown, San Francisco.
Elliott's 7-yard touchdown run and then the subsequent PAT tied the game at 35 and sent the game into overtime. After halting the Saints on their overtime possession, Montana drove the Niners down the field to set up the game winner.
Line of scrimmage, the 17. He'll kick it from about the 26. It'll be a 36-yard attempt, and the crowd will tell you. It's perfect.
The 28-point come-from-behind win was the greatest comeback in NFL history until 1993 when Buffalo came back from a 32-point deficit to beat the Houston Oilers in the playoffs. Here's a statistical anomaly for you from a 1935 college football game. This happened in a game between Washington and Southern Cal. Byron Haines was a running back for the Huskies. The first points in this one were scored when Haines was tackled in the end zone for a safety. 2-0 Trojans. Haines made up for his mistake later in the game when he ripped off a 25-yard touchdown run. The PAT missed, but the Huskies were up 6-2. And that's how the game would end. Haines became the first and still the only player in football history to score all the points in a game for both teams. On this day in 2006, the Phoenix Suns and New Jersey Nets nearly blew out the bulbs in the scoreboard. Suns coach Mike D'Antoni would later say that this was the best game that he ever saw. And sure, he said that after his team won. He may not have been so complimentary if Phoenix had been on the losing end, but he wasn't wrong. This game was played in New Jersey, and Jersey is known for some famous duels, while the most famous of which may be the Aaron Burr-Alexander Hamilton duel in Weehawken in 1804. The duel between the Suns' Steve Nash and the Nets' Jason Kidd should rank pretty close, although nobody died in this one. With Nash driving the ball in one direction and Kidd in the other, this was an up-and-down game, back and forth, one amazing assist after another, bucket after bucket after bucket after bucket. The game was a double overtime thriller. The lead changed hands 34 times. It was tied on 21 occasions, and it is one of the top 5 highest-scoring games in NBA history. The Nets had a 129-126 lead with 4.4 seconds left in regulation, and the Suns needed a big shot. Here's Ian Eagle with the call for the Yes Network that night.
Dion taking his time, finds Nash, puts up a three!
With the game tied at 143 and time ticking down in overtime number 1, the Nets' Jason Kidd had a shot to end it, but the ball went halfway down and then rimmed out to send it to OT number 2. Phoenix went on to put another 18 points on the board in the second overtime to beat New Jersey 161-157. Nash finished with 42 points and 13 assists. Kidd had 38 points and 14 assists. This episode is brought to you by Firefly Books. From frozen ponds in small-town Canada to packed arenas under bright lights, hockey's journey is 150 years strong. Hockey Hall of Fame Timeline of the Game takes you through it all. 8 defining eras, hundreds of rare photos, legendary names, game-changing moments. Created with the Hockey Hall of Fame, this book is a visual time capsule of the sport's most iconic chapters. Whether you're a die-hard fan or looking for the ultimate holiday gift, Timeline of the Game is a must-have for every hockey lover. Pick up your copy today at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or bookshop.org. On this day in 1977, Gordie Howe scored his 1,000th professional hockey goal. It took Gordie a little longer to get to 1,000 than he anticipated, though. He was 49 at this point and playing with the New England Whalers of the World Hockey Association. He'd just said goodbye to his sons, who he'd played with for 3 seasons in Houston. Howe had been on 999 goals for a little over a month, and while he knew number 1,000 was somewhere in the future, it also seemed to be just a little bit elusive. Finally, early in the first period of this game against the Birmingham Bulls, Howe slid one in the net from 3 feet out to light the lamp for his 1,000th goal. The game was being played in Birmingham, Alabama, in front of 10,000 fans who were both not accustomed to cheering for anybody on the other team and also not a very knowledgeable hockey crowd. The place was pretty silent for such a momentous goal, and finally, as Gordie's teammates came off the bench to celebrate with him, and an announcement was made alerting folks of Gordie's milestone goal, the place erupted in a standing ovation and cheers. Howell was grateful the wait was over, saying the chase had turned into a major distraction for him and his teammates. This 1,000 goal figure includes his 25-year NHL career, plus his 7 years in the WHA, with both regular season and playoff goals counted. On this day in 1963, it was the first use of instant replay during a sports broadcast. CBS was doing the Army-Navy game, and the director that day was Tony Verna. Verna had been the guy behind the idea. He hoped it would work, but he wasn't 100% sure. The replay decks were about the size of your current refrigerator. He waited for the right moment, and finally, when Army's quarterback, Rollie Stikwa, scored a touchdown in the fourth quarter, Verna grabbed the footage and then ran it back. But it wasn't in slow motion. It was in full speed. So people at home who had never seen a replay were thinking that they were watching another Army touchdown. But Lindsey Nelson was doing the play-by-play that day, and he let people know several times that this was this new thing called replay. not another Black Knight touchdown. And with that, instant replay was born. And time now for today's nothing to do with sports fun fact. Well, this one sort of blurs the sports, non-sports line a little, but did you know that the official state sport of Maryland is jousting? It's been the official sport for Maryland since 1962. Maryland was the first to actually adopt a state sport. That's all I've got for you today. I'll have more tomorrow on This Day in Sports History. This has been an original Thrive Suite production.